So I just finished my previous video on content creation, and as soon as I got off the record and I, hit stop record, stop record, I came up with some more ideas. So welcome back. I'm Shuvra Deb, and I work as a confidence coach, and I have helped hundreds of people with their confidence and dealing with things like imposter syndrome. Okay, so creating content. This is something that you guys are interested in. And it doesn't have to be content that you put out to the public. It could just be, this is actually also relevant in terms of preparing for a presentation. Okay, so point number 1 or 4, if you watched the last video, and if you didn't watch the last video, go back in, and after you've watched this one, of course, go back in and see what I've got to say there, and hopefully that helps. Okay, so point number 1 for this one is, what is your why? What is your why? So why are you recording? Why are you presenting? Why are you doing what you're doing? When you know what your purpose is, why you're doing something, then it gives you perspective, and it brings the focus in on what it is that you're trying to achieve. So with me, for example, the reason I'm doing all of this is because I want to help people feel good about themselves. Essentially, that's all it is. And the reason I think that, or the reason I want to do that, is because I have a kind of wider view, if you like. I feel that a lot of the time we are so mean to ourselves, we're so horrible to ourselves, and we deserve better. And by not being mean to ourselves and by not being horrible to ourselves, we're not going to be horrible to other people. I'm sure you've heard this. It's become a bit of a cliche now, but there's just so much conflict going on. And I don't need to refer to all the conflict that's going on globally right now. You're all aware. But there's also conflict going on that's not in the media, that's not in the news, that we're not aware of. And I genuinely believe that the reason that there's so much conflict going on is, to use the cliche, we are all at war with ourselves. We're at war with ourselves. We're mean to ourselves. We say nasty things to ourselves. We say nasty things about ourselves. And when we have that internally, that's what we're going to externalize. And so, bit of a tangent there perhaps, but to make the point good, the reason that your why is so important is because that's what keeps you going, that's what gives you the focus, and that's what gives you your purpose. And it helps you to keep going, even when things are difficult, even when you're not getting views, you're not getting any traction, you're not getting any comments. Knowing your why and caring about it is what will keep you going, and is what will make what you're doing relevant for you. And that's important because it's also a part of feeling good, which kind of circles back in on what it is I'm trying to achieve here. All right, point number 2. See, looking at my notes. Don't worry what others think. Don't worry what others think. So when I first started all of this, I had a podcast. I still have a podcast. It's still up there. It's called Shuvra Deb With You. It's available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all the other usual podcast places. I've been taking a bit of a break from that to work on this, but I am planning to go back to it. But when I first started that, I'd get all kinds of unhelpful comments, perhaps people trying to make a joke because they don't quite understand why I'm doing what I'm doing. And one of the comments that I remember is, "Oh, so are you an influencer now?" And I mean, that kind of took me aback for 2 reasons. Firstly, because it was never, and it still is not, my intention to be an influencer. In fact, I'm not really entirely sure I know exactly what that means anyway. And secondly, to kind of take that word for what it is at face value, to have influence, I suppose, on people. I mean, I kind of thought that the people who I interacted with and cared about would, think that I have some kind of influence on them anyway, like they do on me. So it was an odd comment. It was unhelpful. And it kind of made me doubt myself. It made me feel that people were perceiving me as wanting to be something like some kind of, fame mongerer, grabber of attention, by just trying to spread a message, which in that podcast, when it first started, was slightly different. It was to do with my experience of having experienced a Category 5 hurricane in the British Virgin Islands back in 2017. And I spoke about that experience, and I spoke about my journey of recovery from post-traumatic stress after that. And I wanted to share with the world, I suppose, or anyone who was listening, that for anybody experiencing mental health issues or spiritual health issues, there is a road to recovery. There are many roads to recovery. So that's what that was all about. And I will come back to speak about that in a different video or some other format. But for now, let's stick to content creation. So my first point was, what's your why? My second point was, don't worry about what others think. Let them make their comments and process those, feel a bit unsettled, sad, whatever it is, after someone said something unhelpful or unkind, and then do your best to move on and balance out all those unhelpful, unkind things with positive things, because for every person that says something unkind, there'll be at least 5 people who will say kind, lovely things about you, about what you're doing. We've just got to look for those people, right? And the third thing kind of relates to the first one, which is talk about something you care about. Talk about something you care about, because again, that's what will keep you going. It will give you passion, it will give you fuel, and content creates more content. So the more you talk about something about which you care, then you will get more inspiration for that topic by talking about it. And that may not come quickly, it may take some time, but it will come. It's like once you open the floodgates to creativity, and content creation is creativity, once you open the floodgates, the ideas keep coming, the connections keep coming. And yeah, that's what I have to say on this second video that I've just jumped on and decided to riff on, essentially. So if you're still here, check check out the description below and you'll find a link there to my free self-confidence guide. It has a fun quiz in there, the answers to which will indicate some tools and techniques that you can use to uplevel your own self-confidence, which I hope are helpful to you. All right, thanks so much for watching. See you next time. Bye for now.